Welcome to the Holy Spirit's Curriculum of Joy podcast. My name is Wanaka Overhuber, and I'm your host. My guests today are Jacob, Hauge, Mateo, and Lilo, Aurora. Hi.
Hi
Uh,
there.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for inviting. I've been really looking
you're
Yeah.
forward to
welcome.
this.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome, and I'm so pleased to have you here. This is going to be so much fun.
Yes, me
I
too.
bet.
So, I would like to ask you both, how did you live before you got to know A Course in Miracles, and what happened once you got to know it, and how did you change your mind about the world once you got to know A Course in Miracles?
Hmm.
Well, who
Well,
should start? You want to start, Lilo?
sure. Um, I I was actually I was in New York and I was pursuing a career in musical theater, performing and singing as an actor. And I actually sometime this year the spirit reminded me in a way of what happened actually right before the course came in. Right before I I actually had this my first mystical experience, and I had this moment of really calling out very deeply and strongly for another way. And I had already been calling out for many years. Um, but something had happened at that point, and it's like my prayer had been increasing, growing, and um, and then suddenly I was on somewhere on the streets, and I got into this mystical experience where everything slowed down, and I saw it's like I saw everyone for the first time on the streets, and my heart cracked open, and I felt that I was, in a way, supposed to, not supposed to, like I wanted to know everyone, um, love everyone, and that resonated with my heart more than anything ever before. And then eventually I went back home, and suddenly Jesus came to me, even though I didn't know him. But he came to me in some way. I really had his presence there, and he started speaking to me, and it got me really interested in. It's like I was being called to follow him, and then I went. After that, I went onto Google, and I typed in quotes from Jesus. I just wanted to get to know him, to get to know what the things that he said. I knew that if there was anyone who knew about love, about loving everyone, then it must have been him. I did um, learn some things from him when I was younger, and um, like everyone here in Belgium, most of grow up with being a Catholic, or that I never really listened or was interested. But so I got some basics, and then I soon after that I was in the store, in a bookstore, and I was feeling so interested in all the books. I was like feeling so open to be drawn to any book, and I saw in the distance, I saw in the big letters transformational section, and then I looked down a bit, and I saw this big, this blue book, and I just went to it, and I took it, and I started reading it, And I found myself reading it for a few hours, I think, and just crying from the first words. I think a lot recognized with that. Yeah, it was very, it just said everything I wanted to hear. And it's like it spoke the truth to me that I had been looking for. And so that was quite transformational, because after that, I basically stopped pursuing the career. I just was interested in reading the book, and then I pretty much, like a week later, I found David Hoffmeister online on YouTube. I started listening to his videos. I was listening to other teachers as well, just pretty much the whole day when I was not working. And then a few months after, I went to David's community, and I left New York. I gave everything away and moved, and yeah. And then I was so new, and I only knew very strongly in my heart that there was this deep calling, and to be of devotion, in devotion, devoted to this light, and to serve, yeah, this deep love. And so that's, I would say that's, yeah, this transformation, and how I was first looking at the world as um, a place where I could mm, build out a career and make a life for myself, be someone, become someone, and just live for myself. Um, and and then when I found the course, I knew that I was to live in service of this love, and of this awakening to that love. Yeah.
That that was just so beautiful, and just listening to your voice, it reminds me why we do music together. It's so beautiful, isn't it? I think you have the greatest voice, so thank you for that. That sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll just take it from here if you're done.
Yes, feels great.
Okay. It's not to take over your talk show, but I just felt like a closing there. Okay, so to me it was a little bit different, and in some regards quite the same. I remember, that's what comes to mind, when I was about 15, and I'm 41 now. So when I was 15, I was just beginning, or just in the summer vacation, just before 9th grade. And I just felt this, I don't know how to describe it. It was like darkness inside in my mind. It felt evil. It felt very dark. Something that was just over some weeks approaching, just coming closer and closer. And I was a paper boy back then, and I just remember one experience when I was delivering the papers, and I just felt like anxiety, and felt very afraid of this darkness emerging, just coming closer and closer, and didn't know what it was, and I felt very pressured. And then some days, maybe the same day, when I got home, I felt afraid, and tears were coming up. I was crying a lot, and just in despair. And at that point, I wasn't accustomed to tell anyone about my feelings and really share emotions. But I just felt like I cannot hold this alone. I have to share it with someone. I have to not be alone in this. And then I saw that my mama, she was just preparing food in the kitchen. And so I deliberately went to the window outside, and she couldn't see me, but I just decided just to cry out in the open so that she hopefully would hear me. And so she did. And she got out and she said to me, "Hey, what's the matter?" And I was just bursting like open, and I just felt so relieved not to be alone in that despair. And then the following week, we were just having a lot of what I would call sharings. I was just sharing with her how I felt, and this deep sense of darkness just gradually went away, and I just felt like this was a new chapter, new layer. That's how I see it now, anyway. That I was just coming deeper in, thanks to this experience. And then it was very funny because after a week or so, where I was really enjoying sharing with my mother, then there's like a part of me remembered you're also a teenager and in puberty. So I was just like, "Hey, Mom, get away! I don't want to share anything else with you now. Now I'm done after a week or so." But I can see now that it was like an opening in my life that really, that was opening my heart, even though at that time I didn't know what that was about. And then I think a year or two later, I found my first spiritual book. And my mom, she was very much into reading New Age spiritual books. So she was into all kinds of classic stuff like Louisa Hay and Eckhart Tolle and so on. And I found Conversations with God, a book by Neil Donald Walsh. And I was just, I was about to say eating, but I was reading that book just like in a week. And at that point, I hadn't read any book. But this book, I just felt so drawn to the words and this other way, this different perspective on life, which was quite new to me. And I was only 17. And then I had this deep opening, and I had the thought maybe that was it for me, because I felt joyful all the time. I felt ecstatic for a week or two, just ongoing. It didn't go away. And I remember standing in this music shop and just looking at everyone and feeling them in my heart. And I just felt so connected and so joyful. And as I said, I had the thought that this is it. I awakened. And then the shadows of the stories and the beliefs just gradually came back. And I think after some month, I was pretty much back to my old life as I knew it. And except that I wasn't, because this experience of the light and of joy just revealed to me that there's so much more here. And I think because of that experience, that has been like a beacon of light, or like a lighthouse. I've always known that experience is possible. And I think that was very beautifully orchestrated by Spirit, that I would have that experience at that early point in my life, because I have never had any doubt since that that experience is possible. And so I think a year or two later, I met my friend. He's my friend now, but back then my rebirthing breathwork teacher, Douglas Crawford. And this work, I don't know how many people know about rebirthing, but it's all about. I just got a message that the sound is not so good. I could try and change that. I'll do that right after. So Douglas, he had this course, Rebirthing, and is all about getting in touch with your real feelings. and really going deep and bypassing the thinking mind, or the ego mind. And then I think the first or the second time I saw this blue book, and it was just there in front of me. And that was A Course in Miracles. And his whole course was just based on A Course in Miracles and some breathing techniques. And similar to Lilo, when I read that book for the first time, I just so clearly heard that this is your path, this lifetime. This is it. You don't have to search anymore. And so I haven't since then. And I'm just continuing, just going deep with that, with the instructions and the textbook and everything. So it has been my life ever since, and my path. And it's so, I can see how privileged it is to not have to search for some other teacher or some other path, but just having that being revealed to you so early in life. And yeah, I mean, before A Course in Miracles, that was my childhood, and that was obviously a childhood with all that contains. And so I have always had A Course in Miracles in my adult life, and it just continues to deepen. So I think that's my answer. Thank you.
Wow, both stories very, very touching. And so it changed your view of the world in so many ways. Because for you, Lilo, to change from career oriented to service oriented is a huge thing. And for you, Jacob, as well, changing from this fear of sharing, this fear of being open, to this open-mindedness and this freedom of knowing what path you're on. That was a huge step too. Yeah, love it. So
yeah, and I can just add a little thing to that tale about me and my mother. I remember that once we were eating at a restaurant. My mother, she had this thing about this obsession with being present. She wanted all of us kids to be present, and she often said that. And so I remember we were eating at this restaurant, and I was looking somewhere else, like up in the ceiling, or I was just somewhere else. And then my mother looked at me straight in my eyes and said, "Jacob, come on, be present with us." And I can just see that ever since, that has just been a declared goal of mine, to be present. And sometimes when you force presence, it's not really presence. It's just like an idea that's better than something else. But that's very much my mother. She was very much into presence and being open and direct and honest. And I think that's really benefited me a lot.
yeah, thank you. So let's go deeper. Let's find out more about the two of you.
Yeah, I would like that too.
So I'm really pleased that you are so willing to share, and you want to go very deep, as I can tell, because that's what you've been talking about. So let's go a little deeper. You both said that a lot of stuff came up as you were going through all of this. I would like to hear more about how you moved through it with the help of changing your mind about the world.
Yeah, the daily lessons of the Course are definitely the greatest help. And next to that, relationships, like not necessarily the romantic relationships, but all relationships. It's been such a journey for me to come from, the moment actually I entered the community and started reading the book more consistently, and it was all like constantly applying, and everything is so focused on the teachings, and together with David's teachings, it became so clear to me, and all the projects we were doing, very much like, like in the world, normal things, normal projects, and and the relationships in the projects were what was such a gift to me, because I started learning or seeing how it's being used, how the Spirit is using these ones for the awakening, and that's what it's only for. And yeah, so to be able to share honestly, and in a way grow in that, like to learn how to be authentic, to just speak, and to let the whole day just be about that, to be honest, and to strengthen in this connection with the Spirit. So to also share, pray, and share, and yeah, and dare to connect with my brothers, be very open, and that's what's bringing that's what's changed, really changed my life. I was it's completely different. I feel like I was, yeah, in such a different state when before the course and before the community, and just, yeah, it just all helped to for me to understand even the practical application and what this was all about, what it really means in a sense to awaken to love. And um, yeah, so I think for me, those lessons and everything that's in the course, and together with these relationships, um, and to listen, and then, yeah, pray for the guidance and to follow the guidance, that's been so transformational, and that's been the help to pull me out of any darkness over and over again. It's like that's always the answer. It's, yeah, it's not to, I haven't been able to find it, really, the release in looking to, yeah, accomplish something in the world, um yeah, to make something happen. It's never been there, the happiness. It's actually been the opposite. It would, every time it goes in that direction, I will get unhappy. But it's to come back to the guidance that's been the only answer over and over.
Oh. Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because that's so been so such an theme, and it's so relevant for me to speak about. Yeah, this thing about, as a musician, especially for me, because music has always been a part of my life, and I've always had this sense that I have to do music, and that thing in itself is beautiful. But the other part to it has been the world has to listen to my music, and that's been critical and creating suffering, because making music, and I think that's probably what you're speaking about as well, making music, being in the music, and what I refer to as the angel of music, being connected to the angel of music, is such a beautiful experience. It's really being present and being open to inspiration and to the angels and to Jesus, and just really being in the present moment. That's making music without an ego. But the moment that you want this music to go out, you know, in some specific place, you want it to be received in a certain way. You want a certain amount of, I don't know, listeners or followers. That's trouble. And I think that's the classroom that I have been in. That is the classroom I've been in my whole adult life. It's really going from, you could say, beingness, even though it's not completely correct. But let's just say going from, just being yourself, being in the music, and then you have to achieve something with what you downloaded or what you got. And I mean, sometimes I've been struggling with that so much, and been feeling, just really been suffocating until that sweet moment of surrender and just letting it go and coming back to, I don't need to do anything. I already have everything, and I am already whole and complete. So I remember once I had this clairvoyant reading, and it felt really genuine, real, and true what she said. And she said that, well, she said different things, but the two things I want to mention is, the first thing is, only make music when it's fun, and as soon as it's not fun anymore, leave it be. Come back when it's fun again. So don't struggle with it, don't fight with it. That's a reminder that sometimes have to get reminded of that. But the other thing she said was that you have been trying to create music for many lifetimes, and sometimes you've succeeded. Sometimes the music has worked the way that it's supposed to work, being pure and just coming through you as a channel. And in other lifetimes, it's been, you've tried too hard. There's been too much ego, wanting it to look a certain way, and you've gone out of those incarnations very frustrated because you wanted it to go your way. And it's very interesting this lifetime that just experiencing that conflict in mind. So to just coming back to what you said, practically, I think that is my classroom this life, and I'm using forgiveness a lot. I have some different techniques that I've learned just to come back to the dreamer, and that is not being done to me, and just come back. You already have everything. You don't have to struggle with anything, to just relax and have fun.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a lot of things you put into that, Jacob. Wonderful. This struggle for recognition that almost every artist has, right?
Oh yeah.
Really, really important topic here, and I'm so happy you're talking about it and sharing about it, and how you are moving through that with the help of changing your mind about the world.
Yes. Yeah, I was once, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I was asking inside, how should I look on my music? How should I go about it? How should I deal with it? Music coming through, and I don't know where that voice came from, but it felt very clear, and the message was just, your music is not your music. It just comes through you, and no one owns the music. It's already there. And different other sentences came to me, but that was a relief for me, actually, to hear it right at once. It was just, just letting go of the ownership. So you don't have to take it personal. You don't have to think that you are so good because you make this music. And at the same time, come with that, you don't have to, have expectations whether people like your music or not. Sometimes I do forget it, but I must say that I pretty quickly come back to, just to the belief that, I don't have to do anything. I can just make the music, enjoy, and most important, enjoy the music while doing it. And I often listen to my own music, at least when I've just published or released albums, and I can just say, wow, that was healing for me. It probably wasn't for anyone else. There is no one else. So it was just healing for me. And that's beautiful, because then I don't have to have other people listen to it or approve of it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, the music is definitely one of the tools that seems to be used by the spirit to help us get in touch with what's underneath, and but also yeah, really what's like to get in touch with the joy and what's truly joyful, so without all the thoughts about what it needs to be. And so it's very much in the moment. Like I have absolutely no clue where or what, yeah, where it's heading, or in a way who it is for, except it's definitely for me. It's definitely for me. And I can see now, I was, you know, I was very blocked growing up. And I always, since a little girl, I had this desire to sing, but the music wasn't really around me, or in a sense, I was just closed off to it, and I was very scared, and I was just very scared to be in joy, and to be myself. And I couldn't really even make decisions for myself, like just normal things. It was very hard for me until like I was already in my 20s. I was still in my early 20s. I was actually going in a different direction, more film school. Um, but I had still this great desire to sing, and but I was very scared. And eventually I was crying. It just kept coming up in my heart that I felt like I was to sing and be somehow connected to music, um, and to move through through this fear. I think that's what was deeper. Just something really was crying out to connect to, yeah, to myself. and so I was guided with lots of resistance to apply for a school, and I got in right away. I mean, I, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I somehow I got in, and then I could just see that the spirit just used all of it, school and then New York, to use the music to get me to this point and get me in touch more and more, step by step. And even then, after I dropped everything, there was for a while, a few years, kind of a letting go of the music. Not fully. I was more, yeah, not being like the soloist, but more singing with others. And then I came to a point that I started receiving all these lyrics, but still there was a lot of fear again, and resistance, and then yeah, I had to, it took me another couple of years to drop everything and give full attention to these lyrics that were coming through, and this joy, just this joy underneath, um, while using music and letting music come through. And I was to play the piano, play the guitar, write this music, and I kept hearing it and kept pushing it away. And the more I did that, the worse I started to feel again. So I was having all these heart openings in the community and with doing these projects, and then suddenly it started going down again, and it isn't actually until recently, and that was that I had to drop everything, and then I called out and said, okay, if you really want me to make this album, really want to use this to to show me what joy is, then I feel like I could use some help. in like a bodily physical sense.
Very specific.
And then literally the day after, Jacob reached out, and we didn't really know each other. He had reached out before, and we just had texted a little bit, I think, about the music, but that was it. And then he he reached out the day after I put out that prayer, and then he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I think I'm about to start making this album." And he's like, "I want to help if you want me." And I was like, "Yes." Yeah, and it's been such a treat, such a joy, and I feel like over the past months, that was really in August, at the end of August, September, something. I feel like I've been going through these big shifts, and just feeling such a yes, and it's still, it's just moving. It's all, I feel like, in this big move roller coaster, and just feeling a big yes. And yeah.
I love hearing about how the lyrics come to you and how you allow that to flow. Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, I can just share about how it was from my end of the world, a part of the world, our encounter, because I was seeing Lilo on some of the videos on Facebook. We have the same friends in the Course in Miracles community, and I would say that already from the beginning I was noticing Lilo's voice, and I've been working with a lot of singers, but I think that the quality in Lilo's voice is very very very, very unique, because it just opens my heart, and in a very certain way, in a way that resonates with my music and the kind of music that I listen to. And to me, it was like, the thought was, well, this is too good to be true, that she will be working with me, but I have to reach out. And I don't know why I have that confidence. I've always had that. When there's someone that I want to work with, I just do it. I try, and I reach out and say hi. And so I did with Lilo, and I did that. The first time, it didn't really. It wasn't the time, apparently, that we were going to start. But then some time later, she just came to mind, and I just asked her. I think pretty quickly, hey, can we do something together? Can you record at home? Do you want to sing with me? And it was just a big yes for both of us. And then I still remember the first song where we sang together. It's I think it's the one, Always I'm With You, that's on the new album. And just still listening to the whole song, but also especially to her part of the song, the second verse, it just still gives me goosebumps, and I just feel immediately called back to here and now. So lovely. So to me, it was such a gift. Such a gift. And then we're on the same path, so it makes everything much easier that we have the same tools and life view, which is of course miracles. Great reference point.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been receiving texts for a long time too. I was posting every daily for a long time on Facebook. So yeah, and I'm also a fellow artist, so I can understand the journey.
Mm.
Oh wow, really? I wasn't aware of that.
No, me neither.
So maybe you're gonna sing a song.
Yes, I was thinking of doing that.
Yeah, that would be great.
When I knew you were coming on, I thought that might be the thing to do.
Well, I'll lean back. I'm so ready.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do a jamming session. I've done that once on the podcast before.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yes. Me and my guest, we sang together spontaneously.
Wow, that's great. So are you on on Spotify? Or is it possible to hear your song somewhere?
No, I don't have much. I posted a little bit on Facebook, but not much.
Oh, really? Great.
So yeah, I actually, one of the fun things I did was with this modern type of music where you sing and then someone does stuff with electronics and so on. I actually was part of that once. That was pretty interesting.
Oh.
So that was also spontaneous joining and performing it all in one.
Spontaneous is the best.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, because I'm still working on that one, being spontaneous. Maybe I can share that because I'm one of those who always did the music alone and in front of my computer, and I have become quite good at arranging and composing myself. But I can feel that when it comes to joining, actually, doing it together here and now, being spontaneous, then I'm easily triggered and feel feelings of insecurity and not being good enough. So that's something that often is a surprise to people because I have many musicians as friends. And sometimes I've been invited, like, hey, come on over, Jake. Let's jam together. And it's like jam. That's the trigger word for me. Oh, you mean at the same time? I'm not good enough.
Yeah, maybe improv theater. I was also part of groups who did that, so that's quite similar as jamming.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, well, I would feel more comfortable with that because I have done that myself. I don't know. It's like a thought, like, oh no, you're not good enough, as a musician. I remember once I played actually my first concert 2 years ago. It was my debut concert, and I organized it with my sister. And 250 people came to the first concert in a big church in Aarhus. And my biggest fear was, and the thought was, what if there's a real pianist, a real musician out there? That would be so embarrassing. If they could, they would just spot it. Like I'm not suitable. I'm not good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was always surprised when artists would say they're just doing the stuff for themselves.
Right.
I was always thinking it's for everyone. I'm doing it for the world. And so I was just like you, so annoyed when people would not be interested in what I was doing, what I was offering, whether it was my paintings, my writings, or my singing or theater.
Right.
I was really annoyed.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah, and I, I noticed that when I'm sharing new songs, and I can write a new song quite often, just in my home alone without jamming with anyone, but just being on my own, very safe and yeah, feeling good. And then when I share, often I share my music with people on SMS and text messenger, um, and sometimes I'm like, well, this is huge for me to compose music, but sometimes my friends don't even reply, and I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know, share so much in that way, because my friends know where to find my music. But that's really an invitation to be more intuitive and just to share music, but without expecting, how it's being received, but just share it and let it go. Share it and let it go. Just the same way as love. Just share it, let it go. And I can just see that sometimes when I share my music, there's this little expectation that that they will reply, and in a certain way, as I said before. I think that's a beautiful, very powerful classroom. Just to keep practicing that. Just share it, let it go.
yeah, I actually had posts where I would join with others, so we'd have joined posts.
Right.
So I was not writing alone. It was like a joined text of from coming through me and through the other person. And I would call them from the one mind. That's fun too. So yeah. It's an amazing story, and I think this story of the artist's ways is a very, very powerful story. And this
Yes, certainly.
And it's a very, very powerful learning process.
Yes.
Because we do know that it's coming from somewhere else, right? It's not us, but it's still through us. And you have to deal with that, right? Like, all the copyright issues are important, even though it's coming through us and it's not from us, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Or however one puts it, it still needs to be copyrighted and everything. So it's really fascinating.
Yeah, that's a dilemma. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah, and what I'm just thinking of is, sometimes when as a musician and you publish your music, sometimes you're lucky that people who listens will actually write to you and compliment you and say, thank you, that was beautiful, that was a strong experience, positive feedback. And I think that's also a place where what you really need to forgive and to just come back to detachment, and you already have everything. Because I feel this tendency of, when someone is writing, well, I want more of that. I want more positive feedback, and so I sort of become a poor. I become a beggar instead of, as I said before, just sharing the music and let it go. And I think that's also a big classroom for many artists, because it feels wonderful to get applause and all the love that comes, the positive feedback, but letting go of that expectation, not making it wrong, but just be detached from it. So it's fine that you don't get that for a while or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's people who tell you not to continue or this or that, right? Or you're trying to get attention from everyone, right? But if it's coming through you, it's coming through you, and it's part of who you are, and you can't do anything other than that.
Yes.
And when you suppress it, you're unhappy. So that's a totally different story than this putting your efforts into reaching people is also part of it, right? It's like it's part of it. It's like it's coming through and it wants to reach people, right? So it's this dilemma if you let it go, in the sense of not needing that, perhaps it's not totally possible, because there's something in you that is urging you to get it out there.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
So I don't know what to say when you talk about letting go of that completely.
Yeah. I've always found it so amusing that when I get too identified with the role as a musician and, wanting, things to happen in the world, then I've experienced so many times that at some point it gets too much. And I'm like, I just want to let it all go. I just want to be no one. I just want to be in the moment, who cares? And then from that state of mind, of letting go, and everything is opening up again, and you feel peace and joyful, then you want to make music again. So it's just like a circular process for me. Going back and forth, and it's great because the span of time, it's just getting shorter and shorter. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's a new song, and there we go again. And I think it's a beautiful process.
Yeah, maybe you would like to say something about the title of your album that you did together.
Lilo, do you want to do that? You were insisting. It was clear.
Where Angels Gently Sing is the title, and it's a line of one of the songs. And Jacob and I joined on the title. First, there was a feeling of lullabies for waking, and then some titles came to mind, and we just prayed together, and then whichever one felt it's the strongest, we went with. And where Angels Gently Sing also feels very feels very perfect for these songs, because they seem to all be in this, like, I can just imagine myself like the angels somehow in this dimension, just in this space together, kind of looking over us and singing to us, and just this very, very loving, warm, sweet space, and these voices reaching us. And so I feel so called by these songs to rest and actually join them in that space. And so that felt so perfect, that it's not of this world, and something is calling us.
That's exactly right, and I feel it's such a clear reflection of just our relationship and the collaboration that we've had so far. It's been very loving, and it's been very soft, and just this deep sense of that this is important. It's a part of the great plan for everyone feeling drawn to these songs, to this music. So it's one of those experiences that this was definitely meant to happen, and I felt the support of from the whole universe and angels to do this. It's just been so effortless and straightforward. There's not been much speculation or overthinking, not to me anyway. But most of all, very loving and soft, and that's how I hear the songs as well. And I had that experience often with the music that I decide to publish, and maybe especially this album. That is like this couldn't have come just from me. There's something that is like almost like holy, some like holiness, something divine, and I think that's due to listening in while singing and while producing, to just really only go forward if it feels right and if I can feel it deep in my heart. Otherwise, it's not right. And in that sense, I've been producing the songs in my living room, in my little home studio, and it's always like that. That if I can feel it deep in my heart, I proceed. Otherwise, I let it be. I leave it be. And with these songs, still when I hear them now, it's like like almost angel-like softness.
Yeah, perhaps you've seen it. The logo of the podcast is an angel. So
I did. Who did that drawing?
I did.
You did. I love that.
I actually have made many angel drawings, and I actually made a card deck that I never published, but I made it. or better said, it came through me.
I love that. I love that.
So yeah, and also the Facebook group has angels on the picture, on its logo.
They're
Some
everywhere.
children.
We all have right. So we all have a love of angels. I can hear.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
That's good. Good company.
So I'm going to open the floor for the others to ask questions if they want to. Okay, then I'll proceed.
Oh, someone is speaking. That's
Okay.
you. Sorry.
That's me now. Yeah. So let's go into the topic of angels when we're with it, because many people, they want to know what I mean when I speak of angels, right? And I would like to know what you mean by that.
Well, to me, it's more of a like a feeling, like an experience, just of softness and very gentle presence in mind. And as I said earlier, the angel of music, that's like a term that came to me some years ago, because it feels like there's this angel just wanting to communicate music to me, and I just think it's the best way to describe. Well, I don't even have words for it. For me, it's not a like a specific human-like presence. It's an energy. It's a feeling, especially through the music, but also in the in certain relationships. I've always had this sense of like some people where it feels like we've shared some and angelic past together. It's just a very, very rare, not very. It's a certain feeling, certain energy that I feel, and it does feel when it comes to music that there's this whole choir of angels just wanting to inspire me. And if I don't feel that angel like presence in the music, I say no, thank you. I discard it. It's not for me. It's not my task. It's not in the plan for me to do that music. I think that's the best way to describe it. And my music has always been quite soft and angel like. I once had a girlfriend who asked me, "Hey, why don't you write more normal songs, like more worldly lyrics, like about like going and getting drunk or falling in love with some specific person?" And that's a fair enough question. I get that, because most musicians write about worldly stuff, but I have to say that if it's not about awakening, if it's not about opening the heart, if it's not about getting into this deep state of peace, then I'm not interested. It's not my job. It's not this. It's not my task. I've just always felt like that. So also in that sense, I'm not a. I don't think I'm a typical musician, because I'm only in I'm only in music because of awakening, because that's the result. That's what I want to evoke or inspire, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, to me, I feel like, that presence that is my daily companions, reminders of coming back to the heart, reminders, and that feeling that you're being rubbed, gently rubbed over your back, or stroked, and being caressed and held, and to me, the angels or Jesus or the Spirit are all to talk to share with, to call out for help. And just like Jacob said, I feel like like that's this presence that I that it feels like it just wants to speak through, and spoken with, in a sense, have conversations with me to help me open up, understand, break free, and and definitely sing through. I believe, or I feel.
Okay, now I would like to go to something further about music. How about mystical experiences in connection with music?
Well, I don't know if you have something come up, Lilo, to that very advanced question.
Mystical experience and the music. I feel like it's, in a sense, it's been definitely, since the course came in, just that, like, one big mystical experience.
Yeah.
And definitely when in being in the music, playing, sometimes I'm very surprised, like how I'm even able to play the piano, or like it's just this something, just pouring through, and it feels so good. It feels so great. and that feels quite out of this world, because it's not even about the piano playing or the music. It's just this sudden connection that's being made, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that the whole reason that I keep coming back to making music is because it's there are these mystical experiences of really forgetting myself, forgetting the body, and really feeling this sense of oneness, of being everything, being the silence underneath the music. I think that's like, I think it's the same reason that I keep coming back to the course. It's the reason that I keep coming back to the deep breathing. It's the reason that I still come back to prayer. It's really coming to that deep experience that the world is not what it seems. It's a veil before the moment, before truth, and before reality. And I think that's just, I think many people use music for that. Maybe they would say it differently, but it's really a gateway. It's a possibility to forget yourself for a moment and to rise above the battlefield, and to have experiences of being free and being inspired. So yes, that's definitely why I'm into music, because it's such a clear pathway. It's such a direct pathway to that experience.
Yeah, and it's been more and more uncontainable, and I can see just the big healing going on, and every time a song or lyrics are coming through, it's always when I'm having a big heart opening, when I'm just receiving like a very deep insight, and moving from a dark place to feeling joyful again, feeling very open and ready again. And that's often how it's been, and sometimes it's just already from being in joy, and then being in the connection, and just wanting to sing it out. And I also once had a dream, very vivid dream, that was quite mystical, because it was a very clear message for me. And I woke up, and suddenly I started hearing these lyrics, and right away it just all kind of merged or morphed together from this something that was wanting to be communicated, and then very sweet song.
Yeah, that feels familiar to me. Having a very vivid dream in which I was sung through, and then a song coming out of that. Yeah, wow.
Yes, it's funny about the thing about writing lyrics, and then as I also do make just piano pieces, wordless, no lyrics at all, and it's very two different experiences, both doing them, writing them, and also the the feedback that I get from people. And now I have released 2 albums with piano music, no words, and 2 albums with songs. Well, this where Angel gently sings. That's the second one, just came out. And so I hear from people who loves the piano music, and they're like, many of them, and it's not that I hear from that many, but those I hear from, they say, well, it's great with the piano music and no words. It just helps me to to go deep and just to forget about all the words, the tasks, the duties, just drift away. But they don't really like the, well, this is not for everyone, but some of them don't really like the songs with lyrics. It's like it's too many words. And then I have some people loves the songs with the lyrics, but all those piano pieces is like it's a bit too like boring. They don't really get to me. So it's so interesting, those 2 different types of songs or pieces, and to me they feel very different, creating them, because when I make the piano pieces, it really helps me to leave the world of words and just to go deeply into really to the stillness. But it's also very important for me to write the lyrics, the songs with lyrics. That also has something of value, of course. So I don't know how you experience that, Lilo, writing lyrics and then writing songs without lyrics, without words.
I actually haven't written a song without words. Mainly it started with words, and then suddenly I pick up the guitar and behind the piano, and things start matching up, or I just feel drawn to lyrics, and certain lyrics I wrote, and then the music just starts fitting. So I don't have an instrumental yet so far. Well, I've done improvisation, but
yeah, you have. I heard that many times. It's very good.
That's been that. I love improvising. That's really all that it's been actually so far, and all improvisation, because I haven't, I learned some basic chords on the guitar, and then most of my songs aren't even in those basic chords. It's just me that just put my fingers down somewhere, and same with the piano. It's like getting into this bubble, and somehow I'm just putting my fingers down somewhere, and it just feels great, and I love that. That's how improvising with the music feels as well. It's like being taken on a ride. Very beautiful.
Did you also get comments like Jacob about it not being enough dramatical or things like that? Not enough drama.
I think I know exactly what you mean. Well, I think those thoughts are mainly in my mind, but maybe in other people's minds. But no, I don't get those comments, and I think it's because in this realm that we are in, this spiritual, holistic realm, people just tend to be very sweet and nice, when they comment on stuff. So I've noticed that the comments that I get on social media, they are just full of hearts, reactions, and so loving responses. I think it just has to do with just the the way that we communicate. I remember once where I posted this, to me, very sensitive piece, and quite fragile, and then got a lot of hearts, a lot of sweet comments. But then there was this one person who chose this, laughing emoji as a response, and I was like, I was just very curious, like, wow, why? Is it because it was funny, or was it like more of the ridiculous kind? Never found out, but it just shows how much accustomed I am, or we are, to just receiving hearts in, especially in Course in Miracles, the community. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just missing, more honest and brutal, just like very worldly comments, because then you really get it served the way it is. But I have to just accept the hearts and the love, and I'll gladly do that.
Yeah, I don't know actually, because I don't even I don't have music out there yet, except for now, where angels gently sing. But I've just been posting a bit, like some snippets here and there, or some live performance from over the past year. But for the rest, my music isn't out there yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but also it's like, I don't know if you have the same experience, but my Facebook today, the friends that obviously follow me or reads my posts, it's much more like segmented now than it was 5-10 years ago, because back then it was much broader range of people. People I knew from the radio, people I knew from this, but now it seems like only people who actually like what I post that they see it. So that could also be the explanation that people tend to like what I post. When I post my music, because I'm so 100% sure that there would be some people amongst my Facebook friends where this soft angel music is just like too soft and too new agey and too lily white. But I never notice. I never get any comments like that. Well, that's all right.
Wow, we talked about a lot of things. Are there any questions from anyone?
I'm wondering if Michael and Tom are into music as well. Be lovely to hear.
Well, thank you for.
Hello.
Oh, hello. We have technical problems.
Great.
We have.
I'm into music. I'm into singing too.
All right.
I've been in a choir for some time here in Portland, Oregon, where I live. And it's changed a lot because of COVID. And we've been doing everything online. And my choir instructor or leader started out with several different kinds of classes. And one of them is called, well, it's about being fearless, a fearless singer.
Right.
And also she leads improv too. Wow. And so that was another class. It's called vocal fearlessness. And so I started learning a song every week. and singing it in this group. It was really great because it's a very supportive group. Everyone has to do the same thing. And, they don't have to sing a different song every week, but that was my goal. And I just discovered, I actually discovered many years ago in the choir, just how free I could be, and how to just really let go. But then in the past year or two, I came across another person taught me about singing the chakras, toning the chakras. And
Right.
so I learned to do that. And I have an app on my phone that let's see, it helps me to get exactly right on the note, right on the tone. And so I became really good at holding the note. And that has really helped me a lot in singing. And it's been so freeing, so wonderful to just put everything in it, not worry about what anybody thinks. Even myself, what I think. But I am kind of a perfectionist, and so I really practice these things. Um, and each song that I learn are songs that really speak to me, and songs that I want to, that I can put my whole self into, and make them my own, so that it doesn't sound like I'm trying to sound like anybody else. So those are covers.
That sounds so wonderful.
It has been really inspiring for me.
Yeah.
That's marvelous. Yes.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
So, Thomas, you wanted to say something?
Yes. No. I have technical problems. Excuse me. These are only no technical problems.
We can hear you, I think.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then it's fine. No. Oh my God.
What more could you want?
Yeah. Wonderful. So, I thank you very much. It's very delighting to hear all this stuff about music. Wow, music. I am convinced that every living being is involved in music. So
Yes.
music is the language. For example, to give a special example, I am working since years on a libretto of an opera. And so I'm mainly doing other stuffs, but I'm an art historian and so on. And now, how to tell you, I'm working on a libretto of an opera, and it's incredible. Although I do the text, there was a moment when the music came to me, and but I'm not a composer, but by the feeling you have, and then something opens, and then the music is there. So it's incredible. So as everything else in the world, every beautiful thing, it's wow, my God. Do you know one of the most genius composers of the 19th century? He said music, so he can describe the spirit of music only as love. And it's really wow. And so I'm lacking the words. It's so I could listen to you both telling your stories and experiences and everything for hours and hours. It's music is maybe one of the most how now, for example, another example. The only thing I remember from a so-called past life, well, there is no past life. Everything is at the same time, but we have this saying of having past lives, and the only thing I remember is that in that world I was. We used only, so we have the telepathy for communicate, for the normal communication, but we use the voice. We have voice only for singing, and I remember one sentence, and it's in part a melody, it's not, it's a song, let's say, yeah, it's not not a speaking, but a song. So, oh my God, it's never-ending story, music, never beginning, never ending. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. So thank you very much. It was very nice for me to hear your experiences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Then maybe we'll all sing to love now. Love.
Love.
Yeah,
Love,
that's it.
Love, love, love,
Love,
love.
The big choir. Oh my God, are we jamming together now? Ah!
Sing on the peanut butter.
Okay. So, is there anything you would like to share before we end the recording?
Yeah, some things I want to say is thank you so much, Tom and Michael, for what you just said, and yeah, just really not making music special in the terms of the coarse language, not making it special, but just, I mean, sometimes I see music as love. It's more a matter of just letting it pass through you and not being so attached to how it looks or how it's how it sounds. I think those two are very, very good parallels, isn't it? Love and music. And to me, just listening to you share is such a reminder of just enjoy it, just let it come through. Don't think too much about it. Just do it. And yeah, I just got that from you two sharing. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Our choir has a motto: if you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk, you can dance.
I like that.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's sing and dance. I'm gonna do that now till midnight.
So one more thing. How can one reach you, Lilo and Jacob?
Well, do you mean like if people want to write to us or listen, or both?
I guess both.
Well, the music, this new album with the 7 pieces, the 7 songs, it's now on YouTube. Just uploaded as one whole album on one, in one video, and then the music is on Spotify and iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, whatever platform almost you can think of. And I have a Facebook page and just a normal web page, so you can just search for my name if you want to get in touch. Yeah, that's for my part.
Yes. I have a website that's called onesilentmind.com/music, where you can find all music I shared, performances I did, or collaborations I did in the community, in David's community, and it's all posted on there, and it will also bring you to my YouTube channel where you can find these videos. And I'm wondering if I could enter the link here is this a chat, or
you can give it to me and I'll put it in the episode description.
Great, I'll do that.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, you can also write to me on Facebook, which is Lilo Aurora.
What was the name of the album again?
Where Angels Gently Sing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Jacob, Lilo, Michael, and Thomas.
Thank
This was
you.
a great
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
And I will